remembers being at a Chinese restaurant with her parents and her sister. Her mom and dad were having yet another bitter argument about money. Her dad was standing up, screaming and slamming his fist on the table. She remembers him turning red, then blue, then falling to the floor from a heart attack. She was on the swim team at school and had CPR training, which she administered, but to no avail. Her father died in her arms. And so, from that day forth, Josie's mind linked money with pain. It's no wonder that then, as an adult, she subconsciously got rid of all her money in an effort to get rid of her pain. It's also interesting to note that she became a nurse. Why? Is it possible that she was still trying to save her dad? At the course, we help Josie identify her old money blueprint and revise it. Today, she's well on her way to becoming financially free. She's also not a nurse anymore. Not that she didn't enjoy her job, it's just that she was in the nursing profession for the wrong reason. She's now a financial planner, still helping people, but this time, one-on-one, to understand how their past programming runs every aspect of their financial lives. Let me give you another example of a specific incident, one that's closer to home. When my wife was 8 years old, she would hear the clanging bells of the ice cream truck coming down the street. She would run to her mom and ask for a quarter. Her mom would reply, "Sorry, dear, I don't have any money. Go ask Dad. Dad's got all the money." My wife would then go ask her dad. He'd give her a quarter. She'd go get her ice cream cone, and she was a happy camper. Week after week, the same incident would repeat itself. So what did my wife learn about money? First, that men have all the money. So once we got married, what do you think she expected of me? That's right, money. And I'll tell you what, she wasn't asking for quarters anymore. Somehow she graduated. Second, she learned that women don't have money. If her mom, the deity, didn't have money, obviously this is the way she should be. To validate the way of being, she would subconsciously get rid of all her money. She was quite precise about it too. If you gave her $100, she'd spend $100. If you gave her $200, she'd spend $200. If you gave her $500, she'd spend $500. And if you gave her $1,000, she'd spend $1,000. Then she took one of my courses and learned all about the art of leverage. I gave her $2,000, she spent $10,000. I tried to explain, no, honey, leverage means we're the ones who are supposed to get the $10,000, not spend it. Somehow, it just wasn't sinking in. The only thing we ever fought about was money. It almost cost us our marriage. What we didn't know at the time was that the meanings each of us attributed to money were radically different. To my wife, money meant immediate pleasure, as in enjoying her ice cream. I, on the other hand, grew up with the belief that money was meant to be accumulated as the means to create freedom. As far as I was concerned, whenever my wife spent money, she wasn't spending money, she was spending our future freedom. And as far as she was concerned, whenever I held her back from spending, I was taking away her pleasure in life. Thank goodness we learned how to revise each of our money blueprints and, more importantly, create a third money blueprint specifically for the relationship. Does all this work? Let me put it in this way. I've witnessed 3 miracles in my life. The birth of my daughter, the birth of my son, my wife and I not fighting about money anymore. Statistics show that the number one cause of all relationship breakups is money. The biggest reason behind the fights people have about money is not the money itself, but the mismatch of their blueprints. It doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have. If your blueprint doesn't match that of the person you're dealing with, you'll have a major challenge. This goes for married couples, dating couples, family relationships, and even business associates. The key is to comprehend that you are dealing with blueprints, not money. Once you recognize a person's money blueprint, you can deal with your partner in a way that works for both of you. You can begin by becoming aware that your partner's money files are probably not the same as yours. Instead of getting upset, choose understanding. Do your best to find out what's important to your partner in the arena of money and identify his or her motivations and fears. In this way, you'll be dealing with the roots instead of the fruits and have a good shot of making it work. Otherwise, no way, Jose. One of the most important things you will learn should you decide to attend the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar is how to recognize your partner's money blueprint, as well as how to create a brand new blueprint between both of you that helps you as partners get what you really want. It is truly a blessing to be able to do this, as it alleviates one of the biggest causes of pain for most people. Steps for change, specific incidents. Here's an exercise you could do with your partner. Sit down and discuss the history each of you brings to your thoughts about money, what you heard when you were young, what was modeled in your family, and any emotional incidents that occurred. Also find out what money really means to your partner. Is it pleasure or freedom, or security or status? This will assist you in identifying each other's current money blueprint and may help you discover why you might be disagreeing in this arena. Next, discuss what you want today, not as individuals, but as a partnership. Decide and agree upon your general goals and attitudes with regard to money and success. Then create a list of these attitudes and actions you both agree to live by and write them down. Post them on the wall, and if ever there's an issue, gently, very gently, remind each other what you decided together when you were both objective, unemotional, and outside the grip of your old money blueprints. Awareness. Consider a specific emotional incident you experienced around money when you were young. Understanding. Write down how this incident may have affected your current financial life. Disassociation. Can you see this way of being is only what you learn and isn't you? Can you see you have a choice in the present moment to be different? Declaration. Place your hand on your heart and say, I release my non-supportive money experiences from the past and create a new and rich future. Touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. So what is your money blueprint set for? Now it's time to answer the $1,000,000 question. What is your current money and success blueprint, and what results is it subconsciously moving you toward? Are you set for success, mediocrity, or financial failure? Are you programmed for struggle or for ease around money? Are you set for working hard for your money or working in balance? Are you conditioned for having a consistent income or an inconsistent income? You know the scoop. First you have it, then you don't. Then you have it, then you don't. It always appears as though the reasons for these drastic fluctuations come from the outside world. For instance, I got a great paying job, but then the company folded. Then I started my own business and things were booming, but the market dried up. My next business was doing super, but then my partner left, etc. Don't be fooled. This is your blueprint at work. Are you set for having a high income, a moderate income, or a low income? Did you know there are actual dollar amounts for which many of us are programmed? Are you set for $20,000 to $30,000 a year, $40,000 to $60,000, $75,000 to $100,000, $150,000 to $200,000, $250,000 a year or more? A few years ago, I had an unusually well-dressed gentleman in the audience during one of my 2-hour evening seminars. When the seminar was complete, he came over and asked if I thought the 3-day Millionaire Mind course could do anything for him, considering he was already earning $500,000 a year. I asked him how long he'd earned that kind of money. He responded, consistently for about 7 years now. That was all I needed to hear. I asked him why he wasn't earning $2 million a year. I told him that the program was for people who want to reach their full financial potential and asked him to consider why he was even stuck at $500,000. He decided to come to the program. I got an email from him a year later that said, the program was incredible, but I made a mistake. I only reset my money blueprint to earn the $2 million a year as we discussed. I'm already there, so I'm attending the course again to reset it for earning $10 million a year. The point I want to make is that actual amounts don't matter. What matters is whether you're reaching your full financial potential. I know many of you might be asking, why on earth would anyone need that kind of money? First, that very question is not overly supportive to your wealth and is a sure sign you'll want to revise your money blueprint. Second, the main reason this gentleman wanted to earn massive amounts of money was to support his work as a huge donor to a charity that assists AIDS victims in Africa. So much for the belief that rich people are greedy. Let's go on. Are you programmed for saving money or for spending money? Are you programmed for managing your money well or mismanaging it? Are you set for picking winning investments or picking losers? You might wonder, how could whether or not I make money in the stock market or in real estate be part of my blueprint? Simple. Who picks the stock or the property? You do. Who picks when you buy it? You do. Who picks when you sell it? You do. I guess you've got something to do with the equation. I have an acquaintance in San Diego named Larry. Larry is a magnet when it comes to making money. He definitely has a high income blueprint, but he has the kiss of death when it comes to investing his money. Whatever he buys drops like a rock. Would you believe his dad had the exact same problem? Duh. I keep in close touch with Larry so I can ask him for investment advice. It is always perfect. Perfectly wrong. Whatever Larry suggests, I go the other way. I love Larry. On the other hand, I notice how other people seem to have what we've termed earlier the Midas touch. Everything they get involved with turns to gold. But both the Midas touch and the kiss of death syndromes are nothing more than the manifestations of money blueprints. Once again, your money blueprint will determine your financial life and even your personal life. If you're a woman whose money blueprint is set for low, chances are you will attract a man who is also set for low, so you can stay in your financial comfort zone and validate your blueprint. If you're a man who is set for low, chances are you will attract a woman who is a spender and gets rid of all your money so you can stay in your financial comfort zone and validate your blueprint. Most people believe the success of their business is primarily dependent on their business skills and knowledge, or at least their timing of the marketplace. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but that's la la land, which is another way of saying not a chance. How well your business does is a result of your money blueprint. You always validate your blueprint. If you have a blueprint that is set for earning $100,000 a year, that's exactly how well the business will do. Enough to earn you about $100,000 a year. If you're a salesperson and your blueprint is set for earning $50,000 a year and somehow you make a huge sale that makes you $90,000 that year, either the sale will cancel, or if you do end up with $90,000, get ready for a crummy year to follow to make up for it and bring you back to the level of your financial blueprint. On the other hand, if you're set for earning $50,000 and you've been in a slump for a couple years, don't worry, you'll get it all back. You have to. It's a subconscious law of the mind and money. Someone in this position would probably walk across the street, get hit by a bus, and end up with exactly $50,000 a year in insurance. It's simple. One way or another, if you're set for $50,000 a year, eventually that's what you'll get. So again, how can you tell what your money blueprint is set for? One of the most obvious ways is to look at your results. Look at your bank account. Look at your income. Look at your net worth. Look at your success with investments. Look at your business success. Look at whether you're a spender or a saver. Look at whether you manage money well. Look at how consistent or inconsistent you are. Look at how hard you work for your money. Look at your relationships that involve money. Is money a struggle, or does it come to you easily? Do you own a business, or do you have a job? Do you stick with one business or job for a long time, or do you jump around a lot? Your blueprint is like a thermostat. If the temperature in the room is 72 degrees, chances are that thermostat is set for 72 degrees. Now here's where it gets interesting. Is it possible that because the window is open and it is cold outside, the temperature in the room can drop to 65 degrees? Of course, but what will eventually happen? The thermostat will kick in and bring the temperature back to 72. Also, is it possible that because the window is open and it's hot outside, the temperature in the room can go up to 77 degrees? Sure, it could. But what will eventually happen? The thermostat will kick in and bring the temperature back to 72. The only way to permanently change the temperature in the room is to reset the thermostat. In the same way, the only way to change your level of financial success permanently is to reset your financial thermostat, otherwise known as your money blueprint. You could try anything and everything else you want. You could develop your knowledge in business and marketing and sales and negotiations and in management. You could become an expert in real estate or the stock market. All these are tremendous tools, but in the end, without an inner toolbox that is big enough and strong enough for you to create and hold on to large amounts of money, all the tools in the world will be useless to you. Once again, it's simple arithmetic. Your income can only grow to the extent that you do. Fortunately or unfortunately, your personal money and success blueprint will tend to stay with you for the rest of your life unless you identify and change it. And that is exactly what we will continue to do in part 2 of this book, and do even further with you at the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar. Remember that the first element of all change is awareness. Watch yourself, become conscious, observe your thoughts, your fears, your beliefs, your habits, your actions, and even your inactions. Put yourself under a microscope, study yourself. Most of us believe that we live our lives based on choice. Not usually. Even if we're really enlightened, we might make just a few choices during the average day that reflect our awareness of ourselves in the present moment. But for the most part, we're like robots running on automatic, ruled by our past conditioning and old habits. That's where consciousness comes in. Consciousness is observing your thoughts and actions so that you can live from true choice in the present moment rather than being run by programming from the past. By achieving consciousness, we can live from who we are today rather than who we were yesterday. In this way, we can respond appropriately to situations, tapping the full range and potential of our skills and talents, rather than inappropriately reacting to events driven by the fears and insecurities of the past. Once you are conscious, you can see your programming for what it is, simply a recording of information you received and believed in the past when you were too young to know any better. You can see that this conditioning is not who you are, but who you learned to be. You can see that you are not the recording, but the recorder. You are not the content in the glass, but the glass itself. You are not the software, but the hardware. Yes, genetics may play a role, and yes, spiritual aspects may come into play, but much of what shapes who you are comes from the others people's beliefs and information. As I suggested earlier, beliefs are not necessarily true or false or right or wrong, but regardless of their validity, beliefs are opinions that are passed around and then down from generation to generation to you. Knowing this, you can consciously choose to release any belief, a way of being that is not supportive to your wealth, and you can replace it with one that is. In our courses, we teach that no thought lives in your head rent-free. Each thought you have will either be an investment or a cost. It will either move you toward happiness and success or away from it. It will either empower you or disempower you. That's why it is imperative you choose your thoughts and beliefs wisely. Realize that your thoughts and beliefs aren't who you are, and they are not necessarily attached to you. As precious as